to get upset in bargaining. If you look at all the learned works that talk about the construction industry, they really say craft by craft is the best. And every labor act in the country, including Quebec's, preserves the craft unit as the most appropriate unit. I think in Mr. Aiken's material, he gave you a great quote from Judy Fudge from the University of Saskatchewan, the law school there, on that particular aspect.
In your one statement, sir, you said that if we were to let CLAC into the province in some form of presence as a union or any other union, that there needs to be a mechanism that they could all sit at the table.
Yes, I think they have to
all of the other
agreement.
unions. Now, could you expand that a little further for me?
Sure. I mean, if you want to talk about the ultimate in choice, in Quebec, everybody has to be in the union to work in construction. There are 5 unions. You may opt for whichever union you wish to opt for, but everybody will do it with the same collective agreement. So your choice is, what union do you want? I think if you were looking at CLAC or CEP coming in to work in the Saskatchewan construction industry and to be a bona fide union, let them have whatever structure they have internally, but in terms of their collective bargaining, make them bargain with the building trade so you've got one deal that covers the construction industry from wall to wall.
And one final question, sir. Just you said that the trade workers joining CLAC, that the scenario is either you go to work for CLAC or you starve if you haven't got a job. Surely there must be a willingness in this amount of people and these types of economy, in a burning economy like Alberta, that couldn't get enough tradespeople, to have this many people.
Still can't, actually.
Right, in CLAC. Surely the economy dictated that they had choice of different trades. It couldn't be just that they joined CLAC because they didn't want to starve to death.
Well,
there had to be other factors there, no?
Yes, I agree. There are other factors. For some people, they've come, a lot of people came from Atlantic Canada who didn't have a trade certificate, weren't an apprentice, had, you know, a strong back and a will to work. In some cases, they couldn't get on with in an apprenticeship. In some cases, they had a bit of experience, and to CLAC's credit, they took some of those people in and actually got some of them up to speed. Others caught on with the building trades. It is the job you get to, or the job that you want to hire on for. Without having a hiring hall, CLAC doesn't have the same sort of referral system the building trades do, so their ability to recruit people is marginalized, so they'll take whoever they can get.
Well, which leads to my final question. If that's the case, and on your following on your last answer, that they brought these people, put them into apprentices.
They brought them, or they brought themselves.
They brought themselves, but they brought them into apprenticeships and whatever the next form is, journeyman and whatnot, to be a tradesperson. There has been a lot of talk over the past couple of days on the disintegration of the apprenticeship program under CLAC or some of these other unions. And my understanding, and again, I may be wrong, but my understanding is each province has legislation and inspection around apprenticeship programs. And
not each province. If you're looking at British Columbia and Alberta, yeah, I would say somebody goes to work in a compulsory trade working for Ledcor or Flint, he will be in an apprenticeship program or be a journeyman, no argument. Go to British Columbia, where the Liberal government imploded their apprenticeship board and got rid of their compulsory trades and that sort of thing, different kettle of fish.
But in our province that has a strong oversight on apprentices, that would be regardless of what union, including the 17 that we currently have in place, there is a mandate in, okay.
I agree. You know what, credit where credit's due. I mean, whether it's in Alberta or Saskatchewan, if you're a serious contractor, you're complying with the rules.
I thank you for your very, very informative presentation, sir, and your clarity of answers. It was extremely helpful, and I thank you for your list of references that you have provided from the other provinces that we could look at their legislation.
And I really think that is something you need to do. I don't wish to lecture or hector on this one. I've been doing this for 31 years, and I'm just starting to really get to the bottom of this very arcane sort of piece of legislation. It's tough to come in and pick it up right on the fly.
Well, I thank you, sir, for your approach. I thank you for your comments on abandonment and some of the other issues. They've helped me, uneducated in this particular area, to be a little bit more educated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Leclerc. Mr. Broughton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Blakely, for your presentation. Over the last couple days, we've heard a lot of talk about democracy and choice and the rights of workers from a number of speakers. We actually heard from one speaker this morning who suggested that the current system is in fact an infringement on charter rights.
The Supreme Court of Canada doesn't think so, so they're probably a better judge than he was.
Fair point. We also heard this afternoon from bricklayers who talked about the rich tradition of over 100 years of people identifying as belonging to that trade, to that craft. So I was interested when you brought up this notion of Noah's Ark certification, as you described it,
yes,
of 2x2, and where, as I understand it, simply two people within a given trade could be making a decision that has ramifications for many people.
Yes.
To me, that seems counter to a lot of the talk we've been having about individuals saying this is all about choice and all about increasing democracy. Could you please comment or expand on that?
I will, and I'll lecture for just a minute. In a lot of industries, if you're going to start a beef kill plant just outside of Regina and you're going to have 1,000 people working there, and someone tries to certify with 2 employees, the Labor Relations Board will say, get out. We're not interested in you certifying yet. There have to be a substantial number of people who get to choose the union that is that is going to operate in the plant. In construction, 2 people is what it requires to do a certification. The organizing style in British Columbia and Alberta for CLAC, for the Christians, has been to get to and either create a collective agreement that covers everybody, or get 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these. That's the main number of people we're going to have, and make the choice, and then go to the industrial project that's going to have 1,000 people on it. On the building trades side, if we sent 2 people and certified, at least we're certifying to the industry agreement that everybody voted on. So I mean, choice is a big deal, and it cuts a number of ways. The Noah's Ark certification seems to me to be taking somebody's choice and giving it the pitch out the window at 70 miles an hour.
Well, and I think it might especially be true in a talking about the nature of construction, as you did, where you said there's no permanent job in construction. If you're dealing with a site that is there for 1 to 2 to 3 years and not a lifetime, the Noah's Ark approach, I think, has additional problems. So, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Broughton. Ms. Schreimer.
I'm really trying to understand the fear that I believe exists with opposition to this legislation. Are there current barriers to union organizing workers in Saskatchewan? Are there barriers to it?
I don't understand barriers. No, probably not. Other than you can't organize on the company's time. You can't put a pistol to somebody's head and say, sign this card or else. For that matter, if Ledcor were to come into Saskatchewan and go to work today and didn't try to certify under the Construction Act, but tried to certify wall-to-wall under the Trade Union Act, speaking as a lawyer, I think there's a chance they might actually succeed at that. But.
So There's not really any barriers right now to unions organizing construction workers in Saskatchewan.
I say the